So welcome to Student Sport Ireland webinar series. Over the next couple of episodes, we have asked some of Ireland's top student athletes onto the panel to share, discuss a life of balancing elite competition, elite training, and also third level education. Delighted to say we are joined by cricketer George Dockrell, athlete Nadia Power, and rower Katie O'Brien.
So Katie, we're going to start with you. Now, can you please tell me about your experiences of being a student and an individual athlete in third level education?
It's been great, yeah. I suppose I was used to it from, school as well, being in that classroom environment, and I'm lucky in that veterinary is we have our own building, we have our own library, we have our own cafeteria, so it's very much like a massive secondary school, really. All the years are friends. Like I'd be from first year to fifth year, we all kind of got on, and it's a very supportive course in UCD. I think UCD as a whole are good, and so yeah, the transition was easy, I suppose, just because of the nature of the course, I think, and it's probably just kind of throughout, UCD. I think they're quite good at having that support system there.
Katie, you had to travel though. You're originally from Galway, and so you relocated up to Dublin. Did that throw up any issues for you?
It's definitely different from Galway. It's a lot and as well, I suppose, trying to get home, and then trying to get home for training and trying to because obviously I need a boat to train on the water, so that adds another aspect to training that can be difficult, where I had to get roof racks and I had to, bring my boat from Dublin to Galway and then down to Cork to the National Rowing Centre. So it was difficult, but you get used to it. And again, just time management and organising the time to do that and planning it all out well before you do it, I think is the key to that. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Nadia, obviously, like I just mentioned there, Katie had to travel and relocate. You're from Dublin, you're over in DCU. When you were, I suppose, doing your CAO, was athletics, did that have a huge say in where you wanted to go? Were you factoring that into your decision making at the time, or was it something that kind of came a little bit later?
I actually interestingly went on scholarship to America, which would be, I guess, a very famous route for Irish athletes. I went to the University of Virginia, but had a fairly bad time there and knew kind of early enough that it wasn't for me. But luckily, I had heard a lot about athletics in DCU, so I put it on my CAO and gotten a course there and deferred it. So I kind of had plan B ready to go. So I definitely wouldn't have went to DCU because I'm from Templeogan, South Dublin. UCD would be a lot more convenient, but I definitely did choose DCU then because of the great athletics kind of history it had. So yeah, I'm happy it worked out how it was, but it definitely wasn't straightforward.
With the difference in America and Ireland, what was the difference like in experience?
I guess in America it was laid out better for you. They did this thing where student athletes could pick their classes first above any other student. So I could basically pick when I had each lecture to go around my training. So stuff like that was really helpful. And obviously the level of competition was really high. But then I think I do a lot better in DCU just because it's just a lot less pressure and just more relaxed and kind of it feels a little bit more supportive. So I definitely prefer it in Ireland.
Results have really gone your way over the last kind of year or two, so you must be kind of comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, definitely. I think DCU has definitely brought out the best of me as an athlete, better than I thought I kind of would achieve in college, and definitely better than any teammates I left behind in America. So that's been pretty satisfying how it turned out. But I think you're just going to do well with it wherever you're happy and comfortable. So I think that's why DCU's went so well for me athletically.
So George, can you tell me about your experiences in third level education?
Yeah, so I actually went into Trinity a year out of school and did the general science degree that I think they've now broken it up into all the separate ones. But I did that for a year while starting kind of professional cricket over in England. But then got a lot of opportunities over there and ended up deferring for 6 or 7 years. It was quite a long time. But then when I wanted to come back, I decided I wanted to do data science, and that was more the route that I wanted to go down. And I kind of had a look around the different universities and saw the course in DCU that it was quite new. data science course itself, and thought it would be a really, really interesting course to do. And I've been doing that obviously the last 2 years and really, really enjoying it. And I think it's definitely helped my cricket as well to be doing something on the side and kind of planning for that, other career after sport.
And from a team environment, George, like we're talking to Nadia and Katie about being very individual. Like, how is that team environment? Has that been a challenge, or has it been something that has worked well for you?
Yeah, cricket's incredibly team orientated as well. Obviously you're actually playing with them, but unlike other sports, cricket's over quite a long period of time. And so you actually spend so much time with the guys on tour. Even during a day's play, there's times you can be kind of sitting around together for 6-7 hours in the day. So it's incredibly, different in that sense. But I think it's really nice to have played that much cricket and have those, I suppose, soft skills, and then take that into university and take that into data science, which is probably slightly different set of skills needed. So I think I'm really enjoying the kind of mix of the two now, and really, really enjoying the data science so far. And also, I think, as I said, it's quite a small course in DCU, which is really nice, and everyone pretty well. So it's good to be able to kind of make friends in a slightly different area then.
What other resources you received from the college?
I think one of the biggest things, and again, it's quite simple, is I have a bit of a mentor in James Galvin at DCU, and I meet him maybe once a month and talk through how the cricket's going, how my college is going, any kind of pinch points or clashes that are coming up with assignments or with tournaments, or if I'm feeling under pressure in any way with either or the cricket or the college. And he's fantastic in kind of alleviating any of that pressure or stress that I may have. And a lot of the time it's just looking ahead and deciding if there's something that needs to be done, or do I need to talk to lecturers or maybe my program chair. And when we plan it out like that, we seem to be able to get through most of the problems that arise. So I'd say it's definitely having someone to kind of talk to you about some of that stuff.
And likewise, Nadia, is there anyone that's kind of helped you out, like from a scheduling point of view, maybe your own kind of coach, and then with exams coming up, like, would you have that communication to say, okay, like I can't put in a heavy 2 weeks here because I've got exams coming up? Or, is there anyone in the college that you've banged on the door and said, here, listen, I'm struggling at the moment, can you help me out?
Yeah, so I had a big issue this year. I was doing an internship for 12 months as my as third year for my course. So, but I was kind of like panicking coming up to like outdoor season, which I guess in hindsight didn't matter at all because it was all cancelled. But I had like used all my annual leave for competing the following summer, and I was like, how I was meant to work till June with no annual leave basically left, and I was like, how am I going to compete internationally? So I went to my DCU, the head of my course, and I also went to the head of athletics, Paul Byrne, and then they kind of worked it out together, and they were able to help me. And my course coordinator ended up just saying, actually, like, we can give you special permission to finish up the internship early, and kind of sorted that out with the company in a way that they were happy as well. So yeah, like having that support meant a lot, because it was something like, as someone trying to balance working and like doing athletics internationally as well, I was like super panicked about it. So everyone kind of came to a good agreement about it, which, yeah, that was really, really nice. So it's nice to know you can do things like that. And then like similarly for next year, DCU are allowing me to split my final year over 2 years. So like just stuff like that is so helpful, and it just kind of like makes you feel so much more relaxed, and it's nice to know you're supported as well.
And what about you, Katie? How was the support structures at your college?
Yeah, it was good. I was kind of much the same. We have a guidance kind of a counsellor. I think each say section in the college has a guidance counsellor. Like, so the veterinary counsellor was always someone I could have gone to, and if there wasn't something I was worried about, like missing, I don't know, like labs and things like that, she would have always been someone I could go to, or just advice about, say, for a while I was thinking of taking a year out, and she was really good at like telling me how I'd go about it. And lecturers as well were really like kind of interested in like my sport, and would constantly be asking me about it and how I was managing it. And even just that they are aware of the fact that you are managing the two, it's helpful, and they'll do their best, to help you out with that as well.
It certainly sounds like everyone was really invested. But before you went to college, how much information did you know about the support structures available?
I'd say actually very little. I didn't do much research into it, which I probably should have done. It was more just by experience and being there and needing the help and looking for it and then finding it, that I kind of figured it out. But I don't think going in I didn't know much.
George, just in kind of the world of cricket, like, you know, everything from the 1 days to the 3 days to the T20s and all these sort of variations of the game. How do you manage that in terms of study? Do you get support where you can do things from afar, or is it a case of just trying to get everything done at once?
Yeah, mostly it's trying to get ahead on a lot of the work. You know, when we do play games, at times it can be, you know, a 1 day game, you might get to the ground at 8 or 9 o'clock and you finish up that evening at 8 or 9 o'clock as well. And you've spent the whole day playing. So you're fairly tired after it. So it's tough on some days to actually get the study in. So for me, a lot of it's trying to get the work done before I go away on tour. Having an idea of, you know, what weeks I'm there, really, really getting ahead in that time, and then also catching up when I get back. There is times of, you know, I bring my books with me and I bring my laptop with me. Again, it's helpful that what I'm doing is very computer based, so it makes it a little bit easier to do things, I suppose, in the evening. And there's been days, I remember I made my test debut last year and came back after the first day of test cricket and did an hour or two of maths for an assignment. I think I had due five days later, so I thought I might have been one of the few test cricketers to have ever done that. But yeah, there's times when it is a bit of a challenge, you know, as I said, but a lot of times for me, it's trying to do as much as I can while I am in college. Because again, I think it's tough also not to be distracted by the cricket when you are in the middle of a competition or where you're on a tour. You get very, you know, stuck into it, and at times it can be tough when the other guys are heading for coffee to discuss the game yesterday, and you know you need to do a little bit more work. Sometimes it can be tough to do that. So yeah, I think my usual approach is trying to get ahead as much as possible and then catch up when I can.
And what about you, Nadia? When you're traveling afar, what's it like catching up with all the college work?
I really, really do everything I can to avoid doing that, to be honest. So I really do start straight away. I think a lot of people in my course think I'm a little bit weird in that way. You know, when like the group are having a conversation like, oh, I have to start this tonight, it's due tomorrow. And I'm like, oh God, I had that done 2 weeks ago just because I have no choice. Like, it's very different to the rest of like kind of college students who leave everything last minute. But like, I don't have the option to stay up and pull all-nighters, and I don't really want to have to do work on training camps or anything. So yeah, it's literally kind of the same as George, just start as soon as possible. And I think I tend to be quite efficient with my time because, you know, I'm like, well, I don't want to have to bring it with me and do it before a race or anything like that. So yeah, it's just, it kind of does help you use your time a little bit better, I think, just doing sport.
And does doing sport help you structure what you do in your college life? Has it given you an outlet where you know what you have to do? So the sport itself has actually helped you as a person be better when it comes to organising?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think I've surprised myself in college, like how well I've done academically, and I really think it's just down to like the structure and kind of routine I've got myself into. I don't think it's because I'm a genius or anything at my course. Like, I just think I've kind of got it well planned out, and then like obviously from doing an individual sport, I'm like quite self-motivated, and I find like that just like transfers quite well into my study, and like just the discipline of getting something done when it needs to be done definitely helps as well.
You all strike me as, you know, very routine based, very methodical in your planning, and very efficient. Is there a part of that student life that maybe you miss? Maybe it is the nights out, or, you know, turning up hungover to a lecture and all this sort of crack that, you know, is part of third level education. But, you know, do you miss that, or do you have that FOMO, that fear of missing out? Or is this, you know what, I'm not really interested in that at all? So I'll point that to Katie. I'll go with you because you're just finished. You've just graduated now, so you're coming into the big bad world.
Yeah, no, there's definitely occasions where you miss and you can't go to, and you're looking at like, you know, everyone at it and wishing that you were there, or if you are there and wishing that you could be, you know, drinking with everyone and staying out late. But I think it's worth it, and I think as well, if you I think it's important to pick your time off so that it's not like this never ending like ban on having fun or going out. I think if you can pick time off and know that this isn't going to be, you know, forever, that you like, you know, it makes it much easier to accept that you are missing these big nights. And also, I think when you're doing well at your sport and you're enjoying your sport, it makes missing those events easier and worthwhile.
Would you agree, guys?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's definitely a balance, isn't there? You don't want to, as you say, cut it off, and you don't want to miss out on those social things, which are actually so important, a huge part of your life. But you know, I think there's a balance. You can definitely do nights where you don't spend the whole night there, or where you kind of cut back because you would know you want to get in the gym the next morning. But as you say, the rewards you can get from being, you know, an athlete and competing at the highest level of sport is incredible, and it's definitely worthwhile. Maybe missing the odd thing here or there for that, if you get the balance right.
I definitely miss the aspect of kind of being like kind of close with my class, because I definitely think my class are really close and kind of going on nights out and stuff together that I wouldn't have. But I think then like you get that aspect from like your sports team anyway. So like I might not kind of have the nights out with my college class, but you know, we can have DCO athletics nights out and stuff after races, and then, you know, we're all on the same page and it's kind of okay to have a night out and stuff. So I get kind of my social side of college there more so.
The last couple of things, I suppose, if we were to focus on, say, younger people now transitioning from that second level into third level, you know, the advice that you could give. Katie, I'll kind of pick up on something that you said already there about you didn't really know a whole lot about the sports scholarship that was available. So in terms of that, any advice you'd give to, say, someone that was following your footsteps into veterinary or to UCD or anything along those lines?
Advice-wise, I'd say do reach out to lecturers. Don't be afraid don't be afraid to do the research and to contact anyone who can help you. There's so many people like in colleges. I know that like there's people hired there to look after you and look after people who are involved in sports and are more than happy to help. So I would say reach out and send the emails. And, you know, I know sometimes I feel like I'm annoying like lecturers or, you know, whoever, you know, sending out emails, but they appreciate the contact and they're there to help. And so, yeah, my advice would probably just be to reach out for the help if you feel like you need it. And the other thing I meant to say as well, that like there's people in the gyms in like UCD high performance gym, the coaches there, they're like unbelievable and so like happy to help. And like they would have given me programs throughout the year and like just off their own back. So just that, like, it's not just lecturers and resources, that is also the gym side, that there is coaches and people there like throughout UCD like really willing to help as well. So,
and likewise, Nadia, like in the first, say, couple of weeks, if you can bring your mind back to like first year in DCU, any tips around those kind of initial first weeks when it might be a little bit overwhelmed, or even you're trying to build or find that new routine from your lectures and your training?
I would say talk to an older student. Like I think you can get a lot of insight from them, and like most people are going to say, yeah, like they'll be happy to help. So, you know, it would have really benefited me maybe to talk to someone older in DCO athletics and like maybe went for coffee with them and just got some tips on how they balance things, and kind of what the team is like and how they kind of dealt with situations of clashes of kind of lectures and sports events and stuff.
Yeah, really good. George, again, kind of looking a little bit more maybe long term. So kind of like, you know, we're talking about before you kind of go into third level, the first couple of weeks, but long term. And again, for someone like yourself who's preparing hopefully for like World Cups and things like that are coming down the line, you know, any advice around planning well in advance?
I suppose the biggest thing I ever did was I was given a calendar, an Excel calendar with 2 pages. The first was the long-term planner every single month, and putting in all the competitions that were going to come up, you know, the season, and kind of identifying when was going to be the high traffic areas, and knowing that if you had 2 or 3 months that were busy later on, that you say, right, well then these next few months are going to be when, you know, when I will be able to do college, when I will be able to do my work. And again, with everyone I've dealt with it within college and with Trinity and with DCU, a lot of the time, if you go in early enough, you show them that planner and you say, this is where we're at, they'll find a way to make it work and make it work around that schedule if you do it early enough. I think if you go to someone 2 weeks before an assignment and say, oh, I'm actually away competing, and you haven't told them, I think then they're less likely to give you that hand. But if you say it to them 6-7 weeks before, a lot of the time I've found the lecturers will then, maybe do an alternative assignment for you, or be able to change the due date earlier or later, or maybe change your weightings or whatever it is for the year. But again, they really want to help you. So reiterate what Katie said, there's some great people there who they want you to get through the course, and they actually want to help you compete. A lot of the time, if you're competing nationally, they want you, doing that also. So if you go to them early enough, there's a huge amount of help and resources there from the lecturers all the way through to the coaches in your sport as well.
Yeah, we see you're all a little bit younger than me. That wasn't around when I was kicking around, but no, it's great to see these initiatives, and great to see, because I know all the colleges have more support coming in. I really appreciate your time. I know you're all busy and there's a lot happening, so I really appreciate jumping on this and being a part of the panel.